2008 summer blockbuster that changed the face of superhero movies forever. After this, we got a lot more films. The Dark Knight, yes, the 2008 movie with Christian Bale as Batman, and of course the late Heath Ledger as the Joker. 2 hours and 24 minutes. So let's get started because this is a very long film. I don't want to waste any time. Let's get this done. I saw this in the theater in 2008. It was a massive crowd. Because I had seen Batman Begins in the theater, but this one was like the most anticipated because a man had to die doing it, just like The Crow, the original. It's a good movie. I just think it's way too long, guys. The scene in Hong Kong could have been trimmed. Like 5 minutes of it could have been trimmed in that. If there were scenes that could have been cut, it was that and the Scarecrow's worthless cameo. They just have got to connect this to the first movie so people are all caught up. Here are the villain, the guys in the Joker masks. Just make no mistake, this movie is masterfully made, technically and sound and everything. Yeah, the score, the effects, the tone. But then every movie wanted to be this when it came out. Every movie wanted to look like The Dark Knight, feel like The Dark Knight. Hell, one Mission Impossible movie felt like a Batman movie. They also had this Joker mask in Joker, and that movie's way shorter than this one. He doesn't say anything until he kills him. But the thing is, I think this movie would have benefited from an R rating because it feels like an R-rated movie. When you PG-13 this, I could take my kids to this. No, I don't think kids should watch this. Sorry, not a kids movie. The Batman was also a DC movie that should not have been targeted for kids. Because people are like, this is the best Batman movie ever, and Batman's not even the first 5 minutes of the movie. See, no blood, so it loses its impact. And I love the Avengers more than this movie because it appealed to me more. It was a shorter movie, and that was the greatest experience I had in a theater in like ages. Also, that had more of an American cast, if you know what I mean. None of the Avengers movies were directed by a Brit, because it wouldn't be the same. There's William Fichtner. I will say this, the pacing is better here than the first movie. See, there's no blood. It's sanitized a bit. Nolan did an R-rated movie. Tenet was R, and so was Insomnia. When they hold back, it's just like, because I saw Penguin and it was way more violent than this movie. It was. I know that was a show, but still, it was very violent. Trying to make it realistic, just in real life, there's blood. When people get shot, even with a blank, there's blood because we bleed. That's an awesome scene. It is. It's summer. I know this movie came out July 18th, but who cares? I didn't do Batman Begins the day it came out. Again, there's no blood. Watchmen had a lot of blood. They didn't hold back, and yet that movie flopped. This is one of the highest grossing superhero movies of all time, but several movies have beat it. That means it's better. Hmm. In my opinion, guys. Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame. They had, even those that were PG-13, they had more blood than this. They weren't trying to be realistic. What does kill you is he makes you stranger. I can quote this movie all day. I was in college when this came out. It was hype. I don't know you. Sorry. No bots today. School buses. Because when you try to make a movie realistic, I'm like, then you take the audience out. Because I'm like, this is a guy in a bat suit. And this is after 9/11, by the way. This one and Batman Begins. There's a symbol. And I still... Also, I don't care about Batman's voice in this movie. It's just too laughable. I'm sorry. The voice like this, yeah. It's laughable, guys. Sorry. Excuse me. There's Gary Oldman again as Commissioner Gordon. Because when this came out, it was like the biggest movie of the year. And I get it. The spectacle in Batman is good in the movie, but his voice, it's laughable, guys. In this one, it's laughable. And The Dark Knight Rises. But there's at least when they open in that movie, he doesn't talk. That's so... Why is Scarecrow... Why are you in this movie? You don't do anything in this film. In Batman Begins, he was barely in it. Here, this is a cameo. Cillian Murphy, just go away. You won an Oscar. Get out of here. I'm so glad he's not going to be in anything this summer. Because after Oppenheimer, I'm like, we get it. All right? Hockey pass. Those are real dogs, just like in P2. Again, that's all. Yep, there we go. Here he comes. 8 minutes into the movie. You could have cut Scarecrow. This just could have been some henchmen of the Joker or something. Intimidate. There he is. 9 minutes in. The action is definitely better than the first one. Scarecrow's useless in this movie. Dun, 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 dun. That music is amazing, but it's not as good as Danny Elfman's score. Danny Elfman's score is just one of a kind. That's awesome. Whee! Boom. I saw this in the theater, so yeah, you're way too pretty to be. I don't like this voice. How did you know? Sorry. I'm not wearing hockey pads. Yeah, that voice is terrible. I know a lot of people say this is epic. I'm sorry. That voice takes me out of the movie. I don't need anybody help. Again, when I saw Michael Keaton as a kid in Batman '89, he didn't talk like that. Or Val Kilmer, even George Clooney was terrible, but he didn't sound like that. Even Adam West didn't sound like that. They use their normal voices mostly. You don't have to do a voice like this because it's a voice that haunted Batman for years until we got to the Batman. This voice is so bad. I'm sorry, you sound like a grunge singer. That's not Christian Bale's voice. That's Christopher Nolan's voice. That's realistic. You sound like you have throat cancer. I'm sorry. People take this movie like it's the godsend of all superhero movies. I remember Chris Evans talking in the Avengers. He didn't talk like that. Look wise, Batman is fine, but that voice. Again, Yvonne, I don't know you. Goodbye, you. Okay? I'm gonna talk whatever I want. This is my podcast on the Dark Knight. It's good, but it's not a masterpiece. Just like with the Spider-Verse movies. At least Miles doesn't talk like that. It takes me out of the movie. Alfred doesn't talk like that. It's a voice that they made fun of in the Lego Batman movie and Batman v Superman, and also in every cartoon that they did after this. Like the DC superhero girls, Batman just talks like that. It's laughable. That's a really cool shot. You people are dumb, you bots. You think you can get over on me. Got stitches. Rachel is recast here. She's the only recasting in this movie because Katie Holmes didn't want to come back, so they were like, "No, you're terrible. Let's replace you with Maggie Gyllenhaal." Well, Aaron Eckhart's good in the movie, but his deep voice works. When he's Toothface, he doesn't talk like that. His voice is supposed to be deep. Batman's not supposed to sound like that. Sorry. People that defend this movie, I get it. But the voice is just not, it didn't do it for me. Even back in 2008, I was cracking up. There's Maggie Gyllenhaal as Rachel. Much better actress. More attractive, and she gets. There's Eric Roberts. Yeah, there's some big names in this movie, but again, they put Harvey Dent here because, he was in Batman '89. So, at least, this Two Face is not laughing, cackling like a hyena like Batman Forever. But then Aaron Eckhart did this weird voice when he did I Frankenstein. He does, "My name is Adam." I told you, this movie is the reason that a lot of these actors decided to do this gravelly, and there's mostly men that did this gravelly voice. Even the Ninja Turtles movie did that in 2014. I'm like, enough with that voice, please. Maroney. Yeah, they're gonna really let you bring a gun into a thing. Realistic, huh, Nolan? A man brought a gun into a courthouse, even if it's off. If it's not loaded, it doesn't matter. That's not realistic, Nolan. Or David S. Goyer. He's like, this is so realistic. Everything could really happen. Yeah, some of the violence, but it's not realistic. I'm sorry. It's a superhero movie. There's nothing realistic about it. Also, Lucius doesn't come into the movie until later. Morgan Freeman, because he was doing other films too. This only won an Oscar for best, supporting actor, and he died before he got to the Oscars. Realistic. Gotham was more realistic than this, and that was a show that was not a superhero show. You know what's realistic? A documentary, because that really happened. See Super Size Me. That's more realistic than this movie, and it doesn't get the praise that this movie does. It proves that if you eat McDonald's for nothing but McDonald's for a month, you'll die. It will end you because you're not supposed to eat that food every day. That's realistic. This is a superhero movie, comic book movie. I didn't need to see Superman be realistic this year. It just had to be good, and it was. And I think it's better than this movie. Yeah. Oh my God, you blasphemy. Again, it's shorter, it's more epic, and it made me laugh more. Gunn knows his audience. He's not trying to be realistic, and it was just, it was more uplifting. Yeah, there I said it. And an actor didn't have to die to be in it. Even the old actors in the movie are still alive, like Ma and Pa Kent. They're still alive. And Bradley Cooper. Oh yeah, I spoiled it. Yeah, he's in the movie. I'm not gonna tell you who he plays. Like I said, this is a good movie, but it's overblown. They said that this movie's perfect. It's not perfect. I think it's too long. In the middle of the film, when they go to Hong Kong, it's so long. Speaking of China, this guy was also in Skyscraper, but again, that's a shorter movie. There's Lucius, 17 minutes in. He's asleep again because he doesn't sleep. That guy was in That's So Raven. I'm dead serious. This actor, realistic, huh? Realistic. You know why the Deadpool movies and Logan worked? They weren't realistic. They embraced their comic book roots and they were R-rated. Realistic. I never went into these movies thinking about realism. Comic book movie. Comics are not real. They're fictional, Nolan. And obviously he didn't read the comics because the Scarecrow was not some pretty boy with blue eyes. He had long hair and he was deranged and looked scary. He's not scary here. Sorry, but Cillian Murphy's not scary. Even if I met him in a dark alley, he wouldn't be scary. Turn your head like this. This is a good scene. I don't mind this scene. It's the scenes in Hong Kong that could have been trimmed. It slows the pacing down, and the Joker doesn't show up until like 20 or 30 minutes into the movie. A ballerina. No movie is realistic anymore, unless it's a documentary. I'm the only person that's seen this movie that doesn't embrace the realism. Realism. Please. I'm not R&R where he complains that this movie's overrated and it's okay. Again, because this is not an action movie. This is a crime drama thriller with some action in it. That's what they missed. labeled this movie. And Batman's my favorite superhero in DC, no matter what. But still, this is not my favorite Batman movie. There's 3 films I think that are better than this. Yeah. Gasp. Yes. Batman Returns, and even the Batman I think is slightly better. Yeah, it's also too long. But again, that was because Matt Reeves wanted to make an epic. I'd love to see yourself become the villain. Yeah, again, some quotable lines in this movie. Whoever plays Batman in James Gunn's 10-year plan, or if they decide to bring Robert Pattinson into this, just do it right. Don't force it. One movie at a time. Maggie has beautiful hair. It sucks that they have to kill her off in this movie, but again, Rachel's not in the comics, guys. She's not Vicky Vale or Selena Kyle, or even the girl from the Mask of the Phantasm. Here we go. Here comes the scene with the Joker. 20 minutes into the movie, in a 2-hour and 24-minute movie. This is the second time you see him. The pencil trick. Again, no blood. And also, Michael Jai White is in the scene. He was Spawn. There's Michael Jai White. Even this performance, it was great. But I still prefer Nicholson and Mark Hamill and even other people that have voiced the Joker in the past. Well, is he better than Leto? Oh, definitely. Leto's the worst version. Easily. Without a single doubt. Ah! 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 That's not the Joker. He cackles like he sounds like a goose. They said this movie will never be topped, and it's been topped several times, in my opinion. Marvel's done it several times, and DC's done it at least twice. I'm old, guys. Even Mission Impossible Fallout, I think, is better than this, and it's low. It's just as long. It's 2 hours and 17 minutes. That's pretty close. Here he comes. It's a goal entrance, even though we saw him in the beginning in the. Haha. And I thought my jokes were bad. My jokes were bad. I dressed up. But that's trick. I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. This got a big clapping of it. No blood. It's gone. It's a cool look. It's a Joker played by an Aussie man. And he sounds, yes, he does sound like Andy Dick. The black around the eyes is a bit much, though. The makeup is fine, but I still prefer James Gunn's makeup in the Guardians films. It looks more complete. It's like... People complained about Ledger before he even got the role. I'm like, he did fine. I was not worried about him. That's why this movie made so much money. The Batman. You have to lose sleep over this and die for this movie? I'm sorry. It's not worth it. No role is worth losing sleep. Plan? Yeah, CRTV. It's a gripping performance, but like I said, I saw Nicholson when I was 5, okay? Kill the Batman. Can do something, do it for free. See, I could quote this movie all day. And why so serious? He should have said it once. He says it 4 times. 4 times. Nah. Michael J. White's like, man, I wish I was Spawn so I could kill you. Enough of the clown. I had to, you know, yeah. Yeah, he hates clowns because he hated the Violator in Spawn. No movie is realistic, guys. Even the Shawshank Redemption. If that really happened, and Stephen King actually saw what happens in prison, they would have never escaped through a hole. Just saying. Even back in 1994, it's not realistic. It's a movie. It's not real, guys. Stop with the realism thing. If the Avengers was realistic, half of the people would have died. Yeah. Here comes the stupid voice again. I'm sorry. The voice, it's laughable. Bale sounds fine as Bruce Wayne, but as Batman, just, oh my God. Ramirez, that's another character that could have been cut. She's the cop that just doesn't really do much. That's a cool shot. 360. That voice just, it doesn't fit this movie. It's laughable, guys. What realistic? I sound like I got throat cancer. Even Predators made fun of this voice. Like Adrian Brody doesn't talk like that. If you've seen him in King Kong or The Pianist or any movie, he doesn't. If you, where's, I'm like, he sounds like that in Predators, and I was laughing. It's laughable, guys. That's not manly. When I talk to a woman at Comic Con, I don't talk like that because I'm gonna make them laugh. It's so stupid. It's a great movie, but man, people think that this, like this has no flaws. Yeah, that voice is gonna be a maker or break it for some people. It didn't break it for me, but still, when he's talking like that, it makes me laugh. Even the nostalgia critics said the voice has been made fun of. Yeah, what realism? Did DiCaprio talk like that in Inception or Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar? No. Realistic means that they talk normal, not talk like this. The gadgets are cool in this movie. Realistic. Gunner Heat, I don't know. Cats, wink, wink, foreshadowing in the next movie. Plus, there's a lot of talking in this movie, a lot. That 360 shot is cool. Nolan knows how to do a 360 shot really well. Performance canceled. Why aren't actors from The Dark Knight showing up to Comic Con? I don't know. Most of them are not. It's mostly the some of the actors from the Netflix Marvel shows and also ABC's Agents of Shield. Whee! This is Michael J. White's most successful movie that he's not even the star of. Because Spawn was a flop. And Universal showed The Return. Yeah. He's going to be dead in the first 30 minutes? No. No. Yeah, how you got these scars? That looks like Idris Elba. It's not him though. He wouldn't do a DC movie until the Suicide Squad. At one bit. He says, "Why so serious?" Exactly, movie. Why so serious? And he says it again. Mouth. What? Smile on the face. That is a good line, but you didn't need to say that's why. 3 times he says it. 3 times in the same sentence. Let's put a smile on that face. It's a good line. Yeah, because the screenplay was written by Jonathan Nolan and Christopher Nolan. That's why there's a lot of talking. David S. Goyer wrote the story. The story's fine. I don't have a problem with the story. Never did. But the dialogue and Batman's voice just it's a lot. Yeah, this could have easily been cut out. I know they wanted to connect it to the Chinese, but nowadays it will not put a Batman movie in Hong Kong because of what happened with COVID. So that's why the Batman didn't even touch that. They're like, no, we're not touching China or Hong Kong or any Asian country. This could have been cut. This should have been a minute of the movie and that's it. More talking. You know, what you see is what you get with me. You know, nobody loved in Spider-Verse for the realism because it's a cartoon. They like it for the spectacle and the you know, the imagination. Yes, there's a lot of talking in Endgame, but it's a lot of jokes and personal moments, and they don't have filler in it like going to Hong Kong or something. They go to Japan. Uh, Natasha goes to Japan to find Hawkeye, but again, that's meaningful and it's a short scene. It doesn't go on for 20 minutes. Again, this scene could have been cut. This is the only scene in the movie that drags the movie down. Because Joker's not in this scene, and it's just so we can have that rooftop scene, which looks cool, but it makes the movie 20 minutes too long. This movie at 2 hours, you got your point. Just like 1989. That didn't have to have a scene in China or Japan or something. No, they mentioned Japan briefly, and that's it. Because Tim Burton knew about good pacing. He doesn't make movies that drag too much. Again, this is a cool shot for the trailer, but it drags the movie. Tom Cruise did the same scene in Mission Impossible 3, and it was a much better scene because it was part of the plot, and it didn't make drag the movie to 2 hours and 20 minutes. The last two Mission Impossible movies are too long. Mainly Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning. Why are you trying to be the Dark Knight? You're not the Dark Knight. You're not even the Dark Knight Rises. You're not even Batman Begins or the Avengers or something. You don't need to be too long, guys. Long running time doesn't mean your movie's epic. Sometimes it makes it boring. Yeah, the Snyder Cut could have been 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's all you're getting from me. You did not need to be 3 hours and 53 minutes. That's way too long. And it wasn't even because of Batman. It was because there's an epilogue that's like 40 minutes after the movie's already over, and you don't need it. I don't care about Leto's Joker. Nobody did. It was easily the worst part of Suicide Squad, and in the Snyder Cut, you could have easily cut him out. I'm not saying the Asians should have been cut out of this movie. Just you could have shortened it. Nolan, I told you I don't want to read. If I wanted to see an Asian film, I'll see Godzilla -1 in August. That's it. That's awesome. Breaking through the glass. But again, even Shang-Chi, which was subtitled for the first 9 minutes, was shorter than this. Marvel learned their lesson from making movies too long. Just saying, their longest movie after Endgame was Wakanda Forever. It did not need to be that long, guys. It could have been shorter. Bozeman died. You had to keep going. You had to move forward. You didn't have to put Shuri in the costume 2 hours into the movie. That would have killed The Dark Knight Rises. If Batman didn't show up for 2 hours, people would have walked out. You got to give the people what they want. Don't drag the movie. This scene. Nobody even talks about this scene. 2 seconds. Bye-bye. You notice Batman doesn't talk in this scene? There's a reason for that, because it would have made the move scene laughable. And the scene is already too long. Whee! Nolan will do anything to drag out a movie. Look at all of his films except for Dunkirk. They're over 2 hours. Why? Tell me, why, Mr. Nolan? Why are your movies so freaking long? Why? Why did you have to make Inception 2.5 hours? I don't get it. Oh, he's making an epic. Not everything you need to it touches is going to turn to gold. Tenet was 2.5 hours and it bombed. It was the only Nolan movie to flop because, again, you released it months after the pandemic and you thought that people would go see a 2.5 hour time travel movie. No, we already got that a year earlier with Endgame and it made $2.7 billion. That's more than The Dark Knight and Batman Begins combined. Yeah, the audience has spoken. I know people say I complain a lot, but I'm just getting this negative energy out now. Hey, Josh, you finally made it. 38 minutes. We have a long way to go. Love Spider-Verse for the creativity of the story and the fact that it surprised me with Miles. Not everything needs to be long. No, the first Spider-Verse, an hour and 48 minutes. That's long enough. See, they didn't go overboard. But when we got to this, hold on. When we got to this one, hold on. I got to... When we got to this one, they went overboard with the running time. This is about Miles. They could wait till another movie to focus on her family and such, and then all the Spanish scenes they could have been cut. Honestly, there's like 3 characters that could be cut in this movie. Not Gwen. I'm saying the Spider-Punk and Miles's family. That's not his mother and father. That could have been cut, guys. Honestly, it could have. These two sequels were like a critic's, wet dream. Like, these movies are flawless and nothing happened. This movie's 2 hours and 13 minutes. That's 11 minutes shorter than The Dark Knight, but it still feels long. I was watching it in 2023 after Black Friday. I'm like, oh my god, this movie's so long. And this is for kids. Kids movie. PG. This is a PG-13, yet they have to drag it for 20 minutes, 24 minutes. I don't know, man. You don't have to make a movie. You don't have to make a movie. You don't have to cut a movie and have a mandate. But you can't make movies. Don't have to be too long, guys. There's the Joker card. I have Spider-Verse, the second one. but I still think it's too long. Even Spider-Man 2099, they only put him because Oscar Isaac has to be in every freaking movie now. I'm shocked that he wasn't in The Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises. But you know, he was in Moon Knight, he was in X-Men, he was in Star Wars, he was in this movie. Why? He's not Pedro Pascal, which I'm fine with seeing more of Haley. Yeah, but again, they focus on her in the first 15 minutes. I'm like, where's Miles? I want to see Miles. Why is it her and her band and then her thing with her father that could have been saved for her own movie? Don't force it into a movie that's not even about her. It's about him. They won't do Spider-Verse without her. Well, Beyond has to focus on Miles. Don't you dare start the movie with flashbacks and 20 minutes of filler. You don't need it. It needs to end on a high note. See, I told you this wasn't an action movie. That was scary. I saw that in the theater and I heard the sound. Because I dressed up as a Joker for The Dark Knight Rises, but the thing is, they wouldn't let me wear the mask. Because back then, masks were not allowed in the theater. Now they are, because, you know, COVID and everything. Superman 2025 didn't feel overlong. There was a lot of characters in it. Yeah, start where we left off, where we had that other Miles from another timeline, uh, being the new what was it? The Prowler. No. People were scared of the scene, but clowns don't scare me, guys. I've been a clown. Why are you touching his face? Look at me! He's doing a GoPro video. Cartoon. Mask. Turn himself in. Oh, every day he does, and people will die. Starting tonight. I'm a man of my word. It's a great scene, but it didn't scare me. Why? Because I'm not scared of clowns, guys. I'm not scared. I've been a clown. I've been a clown at Comic-Con. You saw my pictures. Well, actually, it was not Comic-Con. It was a Heroes and Villain Fun Fest, but it's like a Comic-Con. My first convention as an adult, and I was the Joker, and people loved it. And I took my mask off so girls could see this wonderful face. Hopefully you're going to do a podcast in August, Josh. I'm doing this one because it's long. Because I haven't done this one. I did Batman Begins in June. I got to do this. Next week I'm doing Dark Knight Rises, and that's it. I'm not doing another Nolan movie until like the fall. You know, like Inception or Interstellar or something like that. Yep, there's Bruce with a bunch of women. Miles is gonna kiss Gwen. That's been leading up. If he was still around, we would have had Heath in Dark Knight Rises. But the thing is, he died, and then when Dark Knight Rises came out, there was that horrible shooting. Thank God you weren't there, Josh. It was in Aurora, Colorado. That's not far from Tennessee, but at least you were safe. I would go to a convention so girls could see my face. Yeah. You're so beautiful, Maggie. Mm-hmm. He's a good actor, but what happened to Aaron Eckhart? I haven't seen him in a movie in years, man. Bale was in Thor: Love and Thunder, but yeah, He stood no chance against Marvel. He has this dramatic opening, does nothing, and then he dies. Wow. What a great villain, guys. You wasted Bale. You should have used him more. It wasn't there, but I heard about the shooting. Yeah, it was awful. I went to Manhattan the day the movie came out. And my mom was worried I was going to get shot. I'm like, no, the theater was safe. It broke my heart. People wanted to watch a movie and they had to die unfairly or get injured, and they will never go to that theater again. That's why with Minecraft, there should not have been those crazy people throwing chickens and drinks and popcorn in the theater like a bunch of savages. People need to calm down. Hold on. Yeah, he's just Jim Gordon here. He doesn't become commissioner until the Joker gets captured. Theaters need to enforce rules. Yeah, because when I went to see Superman, there were no people bringing in chickens or anything. When Watchmen came out, no, they didn't allow kids to go to the theater. The the TikTok the TikTok generation did not go see Watchmen or Logan or Deadpool or any of that. You could enjoy yourself in the theater, but don't act like a psychopath. Booze. They have to enforce the rules. I don't want people going crazy when I go see the next year's Spider-Man. You know, a brand new day. Which, don't worry, it won't flop like Captain America and Thunderbolts. Because Spidey's supposed to be comedic. They're gonna start filming in 2 weeks in Glasgow, Scotland. I don't know. Sadie Sink is not Scottish, guys. She's not, because she's like a mini Karen Gilliam, but she's not Scottish. Comic book movies can't get Oscars. This did, and so did Batman. So did Joker. So did Spider-Man of No Way Home for the effects, but it still got one. Up. That was a cool explosion. They need to enforce rules. Cap 4 did well with audiences, and Sam is still here. Yeah. Why are you doing the voice? You're not wearing the Batman cousin. Ladies and gentlemen, we're tonight's entertainment. See, I know this movie like the back of my hand. Question: where is Harvey? Is Harvey Dent? Yeah, again, why did you throw the drink? Yeah, they have to enforce rules. Superhero movie can get Oscars, yes. People complain when they do. I'm like, they're not. They're art. Yeah, you think that comic books are not art? They are. For every nerd. Nope. You know, you remind me of my father. I hated my father. So I can't say I hate this movie because I dressed up as a Joker. Well, hello. I have said that to every girl in the really loud house. Please. I agree. You look nervous. Is it the scars? Yeah, again, every girl in the Loud House, Sophia, Lexi, and Annika, and Eva Carlton, they're just gorgeous, man. You know, she was older than him, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and he worked with her brother. He worked with Jake Gyllenhaal in that movie I'm not going to mention. Ledger would have been in his 40s if he was still alive. He was only like 4 years older than I was. The scars. Yeah, don't do that. She can't stand the sight of me. I know this movie like the back of my hand. Oh, there's the fighting you. I like that. I'm sorry, that voice doesn't fit, Vale. I'm sorry. You're gonna love me. Yeah, I love your character, but I don't like your voice. Let's just say you're not Luna Loud. Like, her voice can send me to the moon, guys. Literally. You know, Luna means, in Spanish, it means, wait, what happened? Oh, did I spit on something? I would have loved to see what Heater would have done. Yeah, but again, he died. Jackie Earle Haley should have been nominated for Watchmen. Yeah, it's a great performance, but see, that voice fits because Rorschach is he's a mysterious character. He wears a mask, and the mask that moves, and he doesn't look like Batman. He looks like a. Thus, he kills. He kills without any mercy. Like, remember the scene in the prison when he burns that guy with the deep fryer? It's like, you're not. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. Again, it's a better performance. It felt less cartoonish because it's dead serious. That movie, Watchmen. Yeah, Zack Snyder at that time knew to show violence because the comic is very graphic, guys. The graphic novel. Yeah, Aaron Eckhart was in Olympus Has Fallen. That was good, and he wasn't doing a voice like that. We still got about an hour and change. We're almost an hour into the movie, so we got another hour and 24 minutes at when we get to the hour mark. It's a long movie, guys. That's why I had to do it early. Get it out of the way. These speeches. Precious stones. Stones, like in the Infinity Stones. You know, the Infinity War, with how long it is shorter than this movie because it knew about good pacing, and there's a lot of characters in that movie, but it worked because people were invested. It was the ending that sucked. This ending is mixed for me, but it doesn't suck. It's just it's a bit mixed for me. But the like Seth Rollins, am I right? Look at him. Yeah, we never saw that face again after this. He did a little bit of Dr. Parnassus, and then he died. Rooftop scene. While Robert does the voice, it's not as laughable as this. Mainly because it's a slight voice. Plus, that movie was way scarier than this. Like, the Riddler was terrifying in that movie. Because you don't see his face. You know, Peacemaker doesn't talk like that, and that's coming out. That show is returning at the end of August. At least with Batman v Superman, they gave a reason why Ben Affleck talks like that. Again, voice modulator. Bruce ain't got a voice modulator here. No. A Gatling gun. He shot right through a brick. Hello, superhero movie fan. The director of this thought long running times would definitely make this movie a masterpiece. It's good, but it would have been better at 2 hours, not 2 hours and 24 minutes. It feels long, guys. The third act feels like it goes on for 45 minutes. I'm like, Nolan, pacing. Pacing. Get an editor to cut that scene out in China and the movie would have been like 10, 15 minutes shorter. Just saying. That's why I can't see this in the theater again. It won't recapture what happened in 2008. Because that atmosphere can never be to the that could never happen again in 2025 or 2026. That's the same actor from That's So Raven. He was the stinky guy, Ben Sturkey. Yeah, that's him. The guy that wouldn't take a bath because he's disgusting. Yeah, take a shower, people, please. When I go to the convention, I don't want to smell your BO. It smells awful. The effects are not the problem in this movie. They look fine. Nolan doesn't use a lot of CGI until the third one with the bat. That it flies and that's CG, but he doesn't use a lot of it. Like James Cameron, everything is CG. When he does, even the people are CG in half of the time. And yet those movies made more than this. How? They're lazy. They're just Ferngully in space. Ferngully and Dances on Walls in space. With green looking Smurf things with braids. Yeah, that's nothing new about that, James Cameron. What is it with these foreign directors that they think they need to make overlong movies? Even Denis Villeneuve, I know. I love Dune, but good God, the second movie was too long. It's longer than this. Dune Part 2 from last year is longer than this movie. Why? Because there's 30 minutes of talking in another language I don't care about. Was that Anthony Michael Hall? Yeah. The prison scene in Watchmen. Yeah, and it's not that long. I remember being shocked first when I saw it. Yeah, the blood, the pool of blood in the floor, it was shocking. Caitlin could pull it off a Batgirl. Yeah, but don't do a voice like that. You're supposed to have a sweet voice, not, I'm going to sound like this. Yeah, please don't do that. This is the Batpod scene. Yeah, this is awesome. This scene I would not cut. Bagpipes, Josh. Bagpipes. Karen didn't do a movie that was overly long. Not anything that I've seen of her. Even Endgame. Well, I thought Guardians 3 was too long. But again, that wasn't James Gunn's fault. That was Marvel. They wanted to put two villains that I don't care about. Adam Warlock played by a Brit and a freaking High Evolutionary played by a Brit. Yeah, that was going to fail. You know why I didn't mind? Yeah, I didn't like Nicholas Hoult in Superman, but at least he gets what he deserves. And it was one villain, not two major villains. You didn't have Lex Luthor there, and then you had Zod or Doomsday or Nam and the gang. Yeah. This live stream is gonna get so many views when it's up. Because people are like, I love this movie. It's the greatest superhero movie of all time. It feels more like a crime drama than a superhero movie. I picture a sweet voice for hating, and yeah, yeah. Sadie could play her daughter someday. Sadie Stanley or Sadie Sink, Josh. Because there's two Sadies. Yeah, this is Heath Ledger. This is the only time you see his face without the purple suit and the outfit. You see it briefly for a second. You see him briefly. There's David Dalmatian from the Suicide Squad. It was Polka Dot Man. There he is. See, you see him briefly. Realistic, huh? If this was realistic, the cops would have noticed that wasn't. Yeah, he shot David Dalmatian. Again, you couldn't kill him. He's going to be in the Ant-Man movies and another DC property that flopped though. No, Gordon is fine. If Gordon died in this movie, it wouldn't make no sense. He's supposed to become commissioner. Sadie Sink could play Karen's daughter, yeah. Yeah. David Dalmatian was in this. He was in Gotham. And then he did the Suicide Squad. He was also in Dune Part 1, not Part 2. He's laughing because he's like, I'm gonna get so much work after this, and he did. Yeah, this is Barbara in year one, where Barbara's Gordon's wife, and then they have a daughter named Barbara Gordon. That's a good shot. See, this is a great performance, and it's a very brief performance. Another club scene, just like the first movie. We're an hour in, an hour and 3 minutes. We got about another hour and 21 minutes. So we're almost done. We're halfway through The Dark Knight. Yay! Again, John Wick did these club scenes way better. And that's not realistic, and it's R-rated. He's not gone. He pretended to be dead so they could throw off the Joker and catch him in by the middle of the movie. And Nolan, how dare you not put a commentary on any of these movies? Yeah. No commentaries? You don't do commentaries for your own films? Some people do. Some directors think that they're too important to do a commentary. Oh, that sound was scary. Eric Roberts' legs are toast. Sorry. I'm sorry. That voice is not intimidating. It's laughable. Eric Roberts has been an actor for years, and he never talked like that. I really think the Joker should have been the only villain in this movie, but again, Nolan had to pad this out somehow. Let's like just throwing Two Face in there, and also what's his face the Scarecrow in the first 5 minutes, and the next movie they don't even mention the Joker again to put commentaries. Yeah, George Lucas did it for he did it for all the Star Wars movies he directed, A New Hope and all the prequels. They got commentaries. He wasn't afraid to talk about his films, but some people do, like Spielberg and Nolan and Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, I've always said that these movies are too long. I'm not gonna cry. It just cracks me up, man. I'm sorry. Because he does that voice all the way to the end of the film. You don't have to yell. I'm not deaf. Again, what is it with all these movies I've been seeing of people yelling, like sporadically? He already yelled at that guy, at David Dalmachian. Why are you yelling at him? He heard you the first time. You can't give in. Dramatic people, huh? Yelling, because that'll win you an Oscar. I understand dictators screaming, but you're not a dictator. Because not everybody wants their movie spoiled for commentaries. No, they're not spoiling. Like they want to show what happened. How was the experience? This is why Nolan doesn't do conventions. Bale does, but not Nolan. He's not going to be normal. Your beautiful hair. That's right. Touch it. Touch that beautiful dark flowing hair. See a quiet scene that's very rare in this movie, where it's just two people having a nice tender moment that's not screaming or overly dramatic. Yeah, kiss her goodbye because you don't see her again. She dies and then Harvey Dent dies, and he's the only one they mention in the Dark Knight Rises. It's like Bane's voice. It's laughable too. It is. Either commentaries or a picture thing. Indoor, yeah. Mm-hmm. Outcast. Don't worry, the movie I'm doing tomorrow is way shorter than this. Bad Boys 4 is about an hour and 50 something minutes. It is not 2 hours and 20 minutes. You know, Iron Man came out the same year as this, and that's a better movie in my opinion. Robert Downey Jr. sold it, and he never sounded like that. He never did a laughable voice. Also, that movie got two sequels, and he was in the MCU until the very end. And now he's coming back as Doomsday. Well, Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday. Doctor Doom. The good line. Exactly, I agree with that. Or fireman. He's right there. Oh, you're not. I like both movies in 2008 the same way, but I hate disaster movie. Oh no, that's not a movie. That movie is an abomination. It has no plot. This has a plot. It's just a lot of plot. Hey John, what's up? The Dark Knight is one of my favorite Batman movies, and it's one of the favorite movies of all time. I wouldn't call it one of my favorites of all time, mainly because I've seen movies that were better that came out decades before this. And when I was a kid, Batman '89 is still one of my favorites. They're on par with one another. Because with Iron Man, it was more personal journey for me. It was the first MCU movie that I saw in the theater, and it started a whole cinematic universe that's still going to this day. Nolan made three Batman movies, and then every movie he did after this had to be way too long, except for Dunkirk. That's like an hour and 40 some minutes. He had no 3 hour story to tell there, so he kept it short. He cut all the women out of the movie and made it realistic because that was a real war. This is a fictional character. Dunkirk really happened. Even though it's a movie, it's based on true events. And that's way more realistic because it's got real men fighting. Even though one of them is Harry Styles, he can't act, but hey, it's this this is a chase scene and well, Harvey is a villain. Mm-hmm. Shush. Two men had to kiss her, and they're not married to Maggie. Yep, it's a two-sided coin. Luck, yeah. It's a good thing that Nolan had nothing to do with this new Superman movie because when he wrote the story for Man of Steel, look how bad that was. It's like this movie, except it has tons of flashbacks. And Superman is not a dark character. He's not. Look at him. Look at that. Does that look like a person that suffers every 5 seconds? No, and he does suffer in the movie, but it's not every single second. He's not like, he's not like constipated looking like Henry Cavill. Plus, Bale won an Oscar. Cavill has not. David Cornsweet, who knows? I would love if that Superman movie gets an Oscar for at least the costumes and the effects. Because Thunderbolt ain't going to get nothing. It flopped and people forgot about it. This scene is awesome. This is probably the best scene in the movie. The best action scene. Because the pod, the bat pod and the truck. Yeah. Hit me! And I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep calling Mission Impossible Fallout the Dark Knight of the series because it looks like this movie, but it's shorter. How is it shorter if the movie's like 2 hours and 17 minutes? I don't know how that movie's shorter, and yet it has like 85 characters in it. This scene is cruel. Slaughter. I feel bad for Harvey in this movie because Joker took the love from him. Yeah, and he gets the oil the chemicals in his face. Supergirl goes through a lot, so yeah, but it's not this. Man of Steel is just it tried to be like this, but it didn't make half the money, and it was just miserable. It wasn't fun. It was miserable. That new Superman movie gave me what I wanted. Whee! See, this scene could be long because it's an action scene. Yeah, the new Superman gave me what I wanted, and it didn't have to drag, and it had a lot of characters, but it didn't. Here we go, Bat Pod time. This scene was copied, yes, in Captain America: Civil War. It was just done in the daytime. It was a chase scene like this. So yeah, this movie influenced a lot of films after it came out. Wait a minute, hold on. About that, guys. My sister was giving me an inbox on Facebook and told me that Disney Plus was down or something. It's fine. I'm not watching anything on Disney Plus today anyway. I'm not watching. I'm watching Shazam 2 later. Another DC movie that's way shorter than this movie. It's a sequel, but it's not 2 hours and 24 minutes, guys. It's only about the same running time as the first Shazam, and even though that movie failed, this scene is really long, but it's epic. I know, but you didn't make it. I have to live. Here comes the pod. The motorcycle. Here we go. Whee! Yeah, there we go. This was really cool. That Mobile Bat Pod chase is one of that. Yeah, it's one of the highlights of the movie. This is a Batman series done by a foreigner, by European people, because you have Nolan and his brother Jonathan, and also you have Hans Zimmer who does the score. So, do you know why this scene works? Also, because Batman doesn't say a word. Because yeah, you saw again that when he's talking, it's just I laugh. I'm sorry. It's what he does that makes him cool, not just the things he says. Now this scene is all epic. Probably the best chase scene since Terminator 2. If you want to, talk about a sequel that gets a lot of praise, but at least that movie deserves it. But it's also way too long. It's 2.5 hours. That's the rule. Whee! It's like a ride. And it's too bad the Dark Knight ride was not as good as this movie in Six Flags, because it was just a baby ride compared to the Batman ride, the ride in 1994. That was awesome. It's a Batman. Hey, come on. This scene is epic. There's a reason it's so long because it's a scene that's been etched in my memory since I was in my 20s. Yep, the truck flipping over. Yeah, that's awesome. If only the Matrix could have been as good as this, with the sequel. That was cool. When he turns around, that was awesome. See, Fast and the Furious eat your heart out. Yeah, suck it, Fast and the Furious. You haven't made a scene this cool in years since like the fifth movie, because every movie after that became a cartoon. Yep. Come on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Hit me! Hit me! Hit me! So iconic. He doesn't hit him. Someone else does. That's just the poster, like when he turns. Yeah, iconic, guys. I get it. I get why people love this movie. I do. I just don't think it's not my favorite DC movie or comic book movie, because there's some laughable scenes. Watch this scene. Yeah. Jeez, man, Ledger. I don't know what kind of drugs you were on, man, but no. There's Jim Gordon. Yep. Yes, sir. Got him, but that's not the end of the movie. Yeah. This is a great scene. This scene, best action scene in the movie. Easily better than the first one. That was an awesome scene. Yeah, and then she dies. I haven't seen American Psycho. That's got to be way shorter than this movie. Look at all those weapons he had, all those knives. Mm-hmm. This is also a cool scene, yeah. Seeing American Psycho is short, yeah. It's not 2.5 hours. That's also an image I remember when I was in the theater. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Amazing, yep. And he claps too, look. They're clapping for him. Even the Joker's clapping. He's like, I give you props, man. It is. It's a great scene. People were clapping in the theater, and the movie wasn't even over yet. That is a touching scene. Even though it's really short, they cut. Yeah, see, that scene gets 2 seconds. You have to. Yeah, they put a bomb inside of his stomach. His son. Gordon, does he have a son? I know he has a daughter, but I don't remember he had a son. Because when I think masterpiece, I think of a movie that I can watch and have no problems with. Singing in the Rain, Wizard of Oz, the original Star Wars trilogy. Those movies, while they're not flawless, they're movies I can watch and not have any issues with the running time or anything. He's actually, yeah, it's sad that he didn't sleep to get to this role. He's right up there with Mark Hamill, Nicholson, Troy Baker, Joaquin Phoenix, definitely. With this guy, we didn't see enough of him in The Batman. Yeah, the guy from Eternals, no thanks. Me? This scene is so iconic, but then when Batman shows up and he starts talking, it cracks me up. Still, people. the time. And this movie has a lot of foreigners in it, so you know I'm going to be biased. That's why I prefer the Avengers, guys. Less foreign, more epic. So they sound, the only person with an accent that he's doing that he doesn't have is Chris Hemsworth. He's doing a British accent as Thor. This scene is iconic too, but again, scene. I mean, they did the same scene in Detective Pikachu, which is another Warner Brothers movie, but it's not realistic at all. Watch. You deserve that. Never start with the head. Start with the head. It's all fuzzy. See? Here I am. So, and you didn't disappoint. Let 5 people die. Then you'd like to take your place. Before it got at me, that's cold. To the way things were. But know the truth. There's no going back. Change things forever. I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Oh, have to ripping off mob theaters? No. See, I could do the same performance and not have to be on. You complete me. Again, Nolan, you stole that line from Jerry Maguire. That movie came out in '96, and that's a laughable line. Remember the Lego Batman made fun of it? They also say that in Iron Man 2 in a oh, they'll cast you out. Like a leper. See their morals. It's a bad joke. Sad trouble. They're only as good as it allows them to be. Tell you, when the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other, and not in a sexual way. See, I'm not a monster. See, I know the dialogue. I'm just ahead of the curve. See, it's rules, and they think they'll save you. This is my favorite moment in here because both Batman and Joker are in the same room. Yeah, but again, it's the best one. Witches. And tonight you're gonna break your one rule. I love this movie and the Avengers. The Avengers between Batman and Joker, one of the best scenes in the movie. I still like the Batpod scene. You were irritant. You threw yourself after her. He's laughing. It doesn't even hurt. The Crow is just as sad as this. Read that. Oh, watch. Why are you yelling? Water! It's true. Exactly. His voice is not threatening. Both of them. He's on Avenue X. That's where I used to live. Yeah, it's a good scene, but man. Yeah, he can't save them both. Then they have the boat scene, which I think is it drags on a bit because no boat blows up, so there's no spectacle in that scene. 5 minutes, the bomb goes off. Yeah, her voice is scratchy. When Batman was hitting the Joker, yelling, "Where are they?" was on the floor laughing. Yeah, it was funny. I was laughing in the theater. I didn't want to laugh because people were like, this is not a comedy. But again, the voice is laughable, guys. It is. That's why in the next movie, when he does the same thing to Bane at the end, I'm like, I was laughing in the theater. I couldn't hold it. And there's a worse movie that came out that same year called Punisher Warzone. It's way worse than this because that movie is supposed to be in the real world, but it's a cartoon. And Jigsaw is not the Joker. We know, but they both die at the end. They did the same scenario in Batman Forever, and that movie didn't get critically acclaimed. That movie had two people that were, they had a bomb in the middle of the film, and then they had Robin and Chase Meridian. Like, who's gonna die? Of course, they both get saved because they have to be at the end of the film. Yep, there's the chemicals. That's juice. That's orange juice. It's like an orange drink. It's not really. What chemical is orange? Where I gotta use a knife. Yep, this is the guy that has the thing in his stomach. Lynn Jr. had a scratchy voice, but that is cute. I think it's cute and it's adorable because Annika, her real voice is sexy. There, I said it. She's all girl. Plus, that's a comedy. That's a comedy show. It's not realistic. We're 93 minutes in. No, I don't want juice. 40 seconds. Actually, it's a phone. I thought it was a bomb, but that's to detonate the phone. Who puts a... To detonate the bomb. Even Keanu Reeves' voice that people say that it sounds ridiculous. I'm like, in John Wick, no, he's just doing even as Shadow was not laughable when he was talking. I was like intrigued. I'm like, yeah, that's what Batman should sound like. Not, no, I'm sorry, you sound like a dog. No, you're not gonna make it. It's like, why did you save me? No, yes, yes, because you need to be in the third act. Rachel's not important to this plot. It's a good performance by Aaron Eckhart. Yeah, he didn't get an Oscar. It's not okay. They killed this girl off so that they could have Selena in the next... Bye. 95 minutes into the movie, she finally dies. Off screen. Yeah, a lot of comic book movies were doing that back in the 2000s. Because they did that in X-Men The Last Stand. Yep. Yep, his face got burned. Good effects, though, for the burning of his face. They had to show him turn into Two-Face, because again... Because Nolan couldn't stretch this movie out enough. Her scratchy voice is sexy, Josh. I said it. I said it. It gave her personality. And I know in the cartoon she sounds a little bit different, but she wanted to sound... Lock him up in the MCU. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, people. They mentioned the MCU in this movie, which was starting in 2008. You had Iron Man, and then which came out before this, like 2 months before this, and then you had Incredible Hulk, which was a month before this movie came out. That's an interesting shot. That's the shot I used for the thumbnail of this video because it's a cool shot, even though the Joker's not in it. No, you're not. You're dead. It's a double-sided coin. $19.22. It's just like in the animated series, except his face isn't blue here. It's this movie kind of reminds me of Deadpool and Wolverine, where it has to do with villains. Yeah, but that movie, the villains are kind of forgettable. Here, you remember, at least you remember the Joker and you remember Two-Face, even though he should have been saved for another movie. I'd like to see Brainiac. Yeah, definitely. Maybe Annika could work in the MCU. I would love that. I'd be the first day there if it was. Bring more attractive girls that are younger than Yelena. And Morgan Freeman kind of disappears until like the end of the movie, because again he was doing other films. Rachel. Lizzie Green as well. Yes. I would love her as Gwenpool. She's got the gorgeous body and the personality. I still say Lizzie Broadway has the personality of a Gwenpool. Because if you see her in Gen 5, that's Gwenpool. Her personality is short hair. Her demeanor is very, very Gwenpool. I would have said Jessica Roth, but she's too old for the role, so I guess they want to get somebody in their 20s to play Gwenpool. She's supposed to be young. I gotta finish Gen 5. I'm gonna try to at least see another episode next week. I had to finish Ironheart. I did a review of that. I like it. It's not perfect. I never said it was gonna be as good as Iron Man. I knew what I was getting into. It had flaws, but I was entertained by it. It was enough. It gave me something to watch this summer, unlike last year where you had nothing. Agatha didn't come out until like October or September or October, and I'm like, it was fine. Love seeing Catherine Hahn. You know, they show her gorgeous body. I can't complain about that. It's Aubrey Plaza that hurt that show because she can't act, and she's just weird. I don't know why she's like that. It's a good scene with Harvey. You see, there's no sound. It's just his face. Aaron Eckhart sold this scene. It's an amazing performance, and he gets overshadowed by the Joker in this movie. That's why they should have saved him for another movie. That is Anthony Michael Hall. He's a cameo here. He's a report. He's a news reporter. Aaron Eckhart is terrific. Yeah, he is, because he's not laughable. Like if you see Tommy Lee Jones, there's a hint of Two-Face in the movie, but when he's cackling like a hyena, it's a lot to deal with. I know that's a different continuity. Richard Mole, yeah, rest in peace, Richard Mole. Troy Baker, Travis Willingham. He's going to Comic-Con this year. Tommy Lee Jones. I think people just overdid the hatred with Ironheart because she's a girl of color. Again, Josh, yeah, I'm colorblind. The race thing didn't bother me. They show his face. He looks like the Terminator. Yeah. Say it. Again, everybody in this movie has to yell. I'm like, Nolan, that's not dramatic. Yelling does not make your movie dramatic. Even Titanic, they don't yell this much. Or, Inception, or even in like Shawshank Redemption, a lot of it is done quietly. They're not screaming all the time. Because, geez, Nolan, you're not subtle at all, man. Him and Zack Snyder and all these people that direct these DC movies, they're about as subtle as a handgun going off. They're like, screw subtlety. I'm gonna be as loud and as I can be. Harvey was yelling. That caught me off guard. Yeah, that's awesome. That looks great. That looks great. That makeup effects is good. Hope people don't act like that when live action Miles shows up. No, they're not going to do that because not Miles got over. Two Face did scare me when I first saw him. Well, I wasn't a kid when I saw this. I was in my 20s, and I knew he was coming. I was just waiting for it. Why didn't they make Billy D. Williams Two Face? I'll never know. Not in live action, anyway. There's the piles of money. Whee. Mm-hmm. He burns the money. That's exactly what DC did last year with Falia Doof. They all, gee, the Joker, yeah. See, his accent slipped out again because Gary Oldman is British. Half of this cast is British or Welsh or something. That's Anthony Michael Hall, yeah. Smoking is bad for you, buddy. Hmm. It's better practically. I will give it to them. Little pieces and get your pooches. Hmm? I want to only now. Yes. It's not about the money. It's about a message. Yeah, he's right. Hopefully, in the new DCU, Ivy can be done well. Yeah, there's lovely women for this part. Yeah, the movie's almost done, guys. We're almost in the third act. An hour and 43 minutes in. This movie's running time is nothing compared to the Batman. The Batman is almost 3 hours. Endgame is 249, and that movie made over $2 billion. Something no Batman movie has done. Hmm. At least I'm finally getting this done. I'm not doing the Dark Knight Rises tomorrow. It's too long. I'll do it next Wednesday. Look at all those people. I gotta lie down a little bit. I'll just put this over here. Gotta lie down because my legs hurt. I've been crossing my legs for over almost 2 hours now. There we go. Hold on. Bum, bum. That music is awesome. It's not as good as the Elfman score though. When I think Batman, I think of that score. This is an interesting score, but I like even the score in the Batman. I think is a little bit more interesting. It's like, bum, 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 bum. It's more like haunting, in my opinion. It is. No blood. Again, PG-13. Ma'am. Ma'am. I love Hans Zimmer's and Danny Elfman's score. Yeah, but like I said, I prefer when I hear Elfman's score, I have like chills. I had chills in the theater when I saw Batman back in May. I hated getting there. It took way too long to get to Manhattan, but the movie itself still holds up. COVID mask. Hey villain, what's up? Yes, Family Guy made fun of this scene when Peter Griffin was dressed up as the Joker and blew up a hospital again because Seth MacFarlane makes fun of everything. Again, you don't have to yell. Yeah. Again, Lincoln Loud is the man with the plan, right, Josh? I do exactly. I do things too. I swear, every scene with the Joker, he has a speech of some kind. Because Tiny Disher Jr., he could have been cut from this movie. He's at the end of the movie. May he rest in peace. But Family Guy, they don't care how offensive humor is. They got to go for it. Yeah, because again, humor has to be. You have to take some risks. You don't have to go overboard or stretch out a joke for 5 minutes. Like that joke with Cleveland is too long because he's explaining the joke. If you have to explain a joke, there is no joke. Hamill's voice just, yeah. So, mm-hmm. This didn't get best makeup. They lose their mind. Yeah, the hospital scene. Joker is another scene I love. Yeah, because it's got a lot of tension. When I first saw Joker wearing the nurse's outfit, I was on the floor laughing my head off. Yeah. Well, I wasn't laughing. I chuckled a little bit, but his voice is not what made me laugh. It's Batman's voice. Hmm. People have lost their minds throughout the years. Yeah, the pandemic, Josh, is what made people nuts. If you die. See, his voice is fine because it's the meeting of the minds. Hand sanitizer. Yeah, that will be very important in 2020. But Ledger didn't even make it to 2010. This guy, the guy from Raven. Yeah, he was in Raven. That's what I first saw him in. Let me lie down because the movie's almost over. Yep, the scene he didn't know that this was not planned. They blew it up and Ledger looked. It's like, wait a minute, it's supposed to blow up even more, and yet there's Anthony Michael Hall again. It's like a supporting role, like an extended cameo for him. It's like, wait, that's it? I know there was one more. Joker was right about everything on losing their minds. Yeah, 2020. Everybody, like, wait, what happened? See, this was not planned. This was just. It's like, you saw he got scared. You didn't see that coming. Yeah, that explosion wasn't supposed to happen. It came late. It was like, wait, what happened to the explosion? It's a good practical effect. Unbelievable, man. And like I said, this should have been an R-rated movie. It feels very R-rated. Does this feel like a PG-13 movie? It doesn't. The imagery feels very, very R-rated. Why would you take your kids to a movie where a hospital gets blown up? That didn't happen in Superman. The buildings get destroyed in Metropolis, but not a hospital. An hour and 52 minutes. We're almost done. We're almost at 2 hours. This isn't even the longest movie I did a podcast for. That would be the Batman. That was almost 3 hours. If I do Lord of the Rings, I have to do it in parts. No way I could do it in one sitting. It's too long. It's way too long. There's Lucius. An hour and 53 minutes in a movie. GoPro. I haven't seen Suicide Squad in a long time, but I'm not doing a podcast for it. It's just way too overstuffed and broken, if you ask me. It's a movie that needed less characters and more structure. It would have been at least decent. Leto's performance was just terrible because he was being weird on set, mailing things to people. Plus, Gotham City looks like Chicago in this movie. Yeah. That's how realistic Nolan wanted to be. He wanted to use a real city in America that he doesn't live in. Yeah, he looks like the Terminator. Again, I know he yells a lot in the cartoon, in the animated series, but here, that's for 20 minutes. This is for over 2 hours. It feels like an R-rated movie. It does. Especially with this and The Dark Knight Rises, I was like, darn Nolan, you went for it as a kid. That's clever. Why are you whispering? Leto was okay as Joker, not even close to being as good as this. Suicide Squad kill has the worst Joker. Oh, kill. Oh, you mean the game? I didn't play that game. I refused to. This film was also filmed in Chicago. Yeah, yeah. Again, it's a good scene. This scene I wouldn't cut because any scene with Morgan Freeman usually is a plus because he's a great actor. But man, you didn't need the scene in Hong Kong. It made the movie long, and that was in the middle of the film, and the movie's almost over. I hope the Odyssey is not 4 hours. Josh, if that movie's 4 hours, I'm not even touching it. Nolan's next movie, I'm like, please make it shorter. Don't make it as long as Tenet or Interstellar or Oppenheimer. We get it, Nolan. You're an artsy fartsy director. You're not a franchise guy. Just you did one franchise, Batman, but you made it realistic and you try to make it, in the real world. And look what happened. And the movies feel too long. Even Batman Begins was too long. I said it, and it's shorter than this, but by a couple minutes. Fantasy epic, but don't make it 3 hours, please. I'm begging you. 2 hours. 2 hours is good enough for me. I don't need 3 hours. With Superman, I never felt like the movie was over long. Even with Cap and Ballerina, they were long enough. They weren't 3 hours. And this is not the 4K version. This is the DVD, but it looks great. The sound is fine. The picture quality is fine. I don't need movies on 4K. If I could see them, I saw them on streaming. They're at 4K. They look fine. I don't notice the difference. Yeah, because the late Emer Provost that he reviewed this movie a long time ago said that this movie is too long. Yeah, studio mandate. No, I'm not saying like what they did with the Rebel Moon that they released it on Netflix and it was cut and then they did a longer cut. The 2002 Batman has a commentary, but only on iTunes, of course. The boat scene. Yeah, this scene was completely. It's overblown because the boats don't blow up. Nolan thought that he could rip off Titanic and be like, "Yeah, I could do a boat scene, but it's not gonna. It's gonna be kind of pointless. It's just gonna drag the movie out a little bit." And they made fun of it in Lego Batman. That's why. That's why I don't have a poster for The Dark Knight because I wouldn't put it on my wall. It's too long. It's way too long. 2 hours and 24 minutes is a lot to ask for people. I'm only doing this because I've never done a podcast for it and I want to do it once. That's it. Good thing there's no director's cut or this movie would be 3 hours long. Yeah. It's a long movie, guys. Fairies? Don't worry. After The Dark Knight Rises, I'm not doing a movie that long until August or September. Like Endgame, I don't know when I'm going to do it, but it's not going to be next week because it's very long. There's a detonator. Even in Die Hard, it wasn't this long. None of the Die Hard movies are this long. Where are my detonators? Where are they? Or I shoot another one again. Hans Gruber doesn't have to yell as much. And you don't do it. So this is doesn't there's no payoff for the scene. Except when he's like, wait a minute, this is supposed to blow up. Why didn't it? You could always create an extended edition for a physical media if you haven't listened. The whole ending is at night. I'm sorry that I do too. Because Oppenheimer, it did not need to be 3 hours long. I heard people say that it was too long. Yeah. See, people panic. We're 2 hours in already. 2 hours and 2 minutes. It's a long movie, guys. And I wish it was shorter. The movie should have been over by now, but it just drags. This boat scene feels like it goes on too long. Yeah, he punched a woman and the movie never got canceled. Because I don't want to do over long movies. This summer's long, I get it. It's a Saturday, that's the only reason I'm doing this. Yeah, hold on. I would vote for the criminals because they already got they have to pay their debt to society. Also, if you're gonna do an extended version, don't false advertise. No, like they did with the Snyder cut, it is longer. No, you don't. That music is pretty on. Whee! That is a cool gadget, but the voice is just laughable. If they said Batman had a voice modulator, I'd be like, okay, I don't like it, but at least yeah, because bats are blind, so they have to see through sonar. That is a cool visual. Perfectly paced. I'm like, Josh, it has a long scene in Hong Kong that could have been cut. Arkham Games also has a film suit. Yeah, but that game, the game, you can play it in a few days. You don't have to finish it in a day. He kept that short. This is a good climax. It just it feels too long. I feel the pacing because I'm like, guys, I have a condition. Bum, 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 bum. The musicians deserve all the credit for the score. I can't call this perfectly paced. It's just too long. Even when I first saw this, I'm like, man, this movie's long. And then the sequel's even longer than this, Dark Knight Rises, which should have been way shorter. They didn't have Harvey, they didn't have the Joker, so they had to stretch it out with 15 other characters. Whee! Even Deadpool made fun of this movie when Deadpool 2 is like, I'm Batman again. That's funny. Just fast forward to scenes that I don't involve Batman exactly, or scenes that are just talky. The first hour of the movie has a lot of talking, a lot. No, that's another villain. This scene is cool, but the boat scene, I don't even care about it. Sorry, there's no payoff. Time to use my gadgets because I don't have superpowers. You know how long this movie is longer? Is shorter. This movie is 4 minutes shorter than The Last Jedi, which also was way too long. You can't say that's perfectly paced because the whole Cantonica scene and it should have been cut entirely. Any movie that has to be over 2 hours and doesn't need to be should be cut. The Man of Steel is also too long. It has tons of flashbacks that could have been done in one scene. You didn't need 14 flashbacks in that. That's right. Hit him, Batman. Hit him. Bale's physical performance is fine, but his voice, ugh, less to be desired. Let me just tell you. Again, this movie is definitely better than Last Jedi. It is only because it's well made. It's well made. It's not some preachy, like, subvert your expectation sequel. Hold on. Before I get to that. No, not the dogs again. No animals were harmed in this movie either. P2 was an hour and 38 minutes. It's an hour shorter than this movie. Back in 2008, this movie should have had an intermission. Yeah, I think that after Harvey, after Rachel dies, they could have cut the movie there. Done it. There's Tiny Lister Jr. Rest in peace, man. One of the few actors that died in this movie. Him and Heath Ledger. They died too soon. It's almost 12 o'clock. It's like New Year's Eve. Because this boat scene, I wasn't on the edge of my seat. I was like, I knew what was going to happen. Superhero movie fan, if they did it, it would have hurt my enjoyment. No, it wouldn't have hurt my enjoyment because the Batman, it was a perfect spot to do the intermission. Movies are too long now. Even back in 2008, yeah, they were long, but not every superhero movie was this long. Or, Nolan's movies got even longer than this after this because he doesn't know how to make a 90-minute movie. He has to make everything 2.5 hours. Look at Oppenheimer. That's 2 hours and 58 minutes. Look at Killers of the Flower Moon, Josh. Racism for 3 hours and 20 minutes. I'm not gonna live to be 1,000. Martin Scorsese, make your movie shorter, please. You're not 25 anymore. You're in your 80s or 90s or whatever. Make your movie shorter. Yep, there it is. He threw the bomb out. That's all he needed to do. So dramatic for a no payoff. Here we go. Nothing. Nothing happens. This for no payoff. And it's like, wait, what happened to the explosion? All Joker does is blows things up, so he's Michael Bay. Sorry, but the scene in the cathedral. Nowadays, can do that, but don't make the intermissions too long. No, 10 minutes will get me back into the theater. They do it for marathons, Josh. Every marathon, at least a 2 minute, not 2 minutes, 10. Because when I saw the Die Hard movies, that was 10 hours. Every time the movie ended, they give me a 10-minute head start to go to the bathroom. You should have let him die. No, he has to save him because he's not going to copy Batman '89. Let me die. No. Horse meets an immovable object. $10 is too long. No, I think it's fine. 2 hours and 12 minutes. This is much fun. I think we and I are destined to do this forever. Yes, they are. Yeah. City just showed you that it's full of people ready to believe in God. That would have been an awesome line if he didn't sound like that. It's a good line, but man, that voice is. If Michael Keaton had said that, or Peter Weller in The Dark Knight Returns, it doesn't sound as laughable. See, Josh, I could do voices too. White Knight, and I brought him down to an art level. The final fight between them is awesome. Yeah, threw Joker off the building. Yeah, that he should have died. I used to do voices. So it's a little push. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger. Yep, and that's it. You don't see him again. That was the last time we saw him as a Joker, and he's never mentioned again in the next movie, which took 4 years to make. By the way, it did not get rushed out because Nolan was doing Inception after this, and then he came back to this, and then he did Interstellar, which is amazing. I think that's much better because it's visually stunning, and yet it's way longer than this movie, but it's more my type of movie because it's sci-fi. And McConaughey doesn't sound like this. I could shut the air off for now. I'm leaving this room anyway. I gotta wash my pillow. It stinks. Ernest Goes to Camp is not as long as this movie. It's way shorter. I know what you lost, Harvey. He doesn't have a wife here like he did in the animated series. That kid. That's his daughter. Yeah, that's Barbara Gordon. Yeah, she doesn't have anything to say though in the film. You don't want to hurt the boy, Harvey, again. It's laughable. That's Barbara. The acting is good in the movie. I'm not going to say the acting is bad. It's just the Batman voice is it's laughable. I'm sorry. If people if people took that voice seriously, fine. I didn't. I was laughing hysterically. Plus, it's a hard voice to do. John Wick came out a few years after this and proved you could do an action movie and not be that long. It was like an hour and 40 minutes. Again, yeah, again, that voice. People's lives are at stake. Stop doing the voice. The Dark Knight trilogy, Interstellar, and Inception are my favorite films from Nolan. The acting is beyond amazing. The movie and John Wick are my favorite. Yeah. John Wick is shorter. Well, the only John Wick movie as long as this is four, but that was the fourth movie. The Batman voice is tough to crack down. Bruce lost both of his parents. Sorry. Bale's voice must have been shot after this filming this movie. That's why he does the same voice. Because a year later he did Terminator Salvation. Why does he sound like that? Yeah, I will admit Bale's voice made me laugh. It does. It's laughable. I wasn't laughing at Robert Pattinson or Ben Affleck or even Kevin Conroy's voice. May he rest in peace. Didn't hurt him. He has a bulletproof vest. No. We're 2 hours and 18 minutes. Can we please wrap this up? God, this movie's so long. It's a good movie, but like I said, too long, guys. The Avengers prove that you don't have to be this long to get your point across. And that has 6 characters they focus on, not 30. Spear. And even his death is kind of underwhelming. It's anticlimactic. He falls. Terminator Salvation Bales was doing his Batman voice. And why? John Connor is not Bruce Wayne. He's like, you think you're human? And I'm like, why are you doing that same voice? I guess because he looked the same. He just had a shorter haircut like me. Why would he do that same voice? Bale didn't do that voice in Thor, but the thing is, he used his real accent and yet they underuse him. Why would you do that, Marvel? And you know the same person that wrote Thor Love and Thunder, Josh, did the news. I know what you did last summer. Yeah, no wonder the dialogue is bad. Because Thor Love and Thunder had screaming goats and stupid dialogue and too many jokes. I don't hate the movie, but it's got a lot of problems, more than this movie. 2 hours and 20 minutes. Let's wrap this up. Yeah, Dent is dead. I guess the reason why the Batman voice is laughable is this because Nolan told Bale to do that type of voice. It's laughable. You don't have to sound completely different. You could have talked like this. You don't have to go like you're gasping for air. I lived long enough to see yourself become the villain. You're an anti-hero. 2 hours and 21 minutes. Hold on. This is the longest movie I've done all summer. Yeah, this one and then Batman Begins. But don't worry. The next movie won't be this long. We're almost done. No, I'm not seeing the end credits. The movie was long enough. You guys have seen the end credits. People applauded at the end of this movie, yeah. But it wasn't the biggest applause I've ever heard in a movie. That would be the Avengers. Yeah, mine is going to be rewarded when the movie's over. Bye, Lucius. We'll see you in the next movie, briefly, because he's not in it as much as this one. He's a vigilante. Anti-hero. That music is so bombastic. Yeah, I can take it. Yep, got it right. Just like the ending of the Batman. Hell yeah. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, I can still clap at the end of this movie, guys. It's a great movie. I'm not gonna knock it down just because I don't like his voice. It's well made. Like, this is one of Nolan's best films, even though it's way too long. 2 hours and 23 minutes. But again, when that screen turned black, everybody was clapping. Because I'm like, it was a powerful, second movie. It's the Empire Strikes Back of Batman movies that were made. Because we haven't had a trilogy of Batman movies in a while. Because with BVS, we never got a Batman movie with Ben Affleck by himself. That's what I wanted. We didn't get that until we got Robert Pattinson's movie, which is getting a movie sequel. Hopefully it's not as long as this. Jeez, because, make it shorter. You don't have to make it 2.5 hours. Just get to the point faster. I'm saying, like, it's a great movie, but like I've said, I've seen better movies that were way shorter than this. And I can't count Endgame because Endgame is way longer. Again, it's an ending of a series. This was not the end. We had one more, and we'll get to that one next week. So that was The Dark Knight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My take on it, because this is not the critic's choice. It's my choice. Great movie, but way too long and a bit overrated. But anyway, thanks for watching. Acknowledge me. And I'll see you guys next time tomorrow. I'll do Bad Boys 4. Hope for the best for that one. See you later.